a few hours before Atlanta sees much of anything happening. But the satellite radar picture shows plenty of it. Back to our west now. Temperatures are starting to move with some sunshine in some areas. We're now into the mid-50s, and then we've got 40s mainly on the north side of town. But here's the hour-by-hour forecast, where as this starts to sweep through from the west, there will be a definite difference from north to south. The steadier soaking rain will tend to be near and south of Atlanta, with perhaps fewer showers across our northern counties. Most areas will get wet. I think very few areas will get skipped over, although some will. But the higher rainfall totals will tend to be in the south metro area and going into middle Georgia. So that's a snapshot at 6 o'clock this evening. If that timing holds, we'll start clearing out the rain well in advance of the evening rush hour for some, not for everyone. Some of you will have a wet drive home this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy late tonight as the rain takes a break. And then tomorrow, just a couple showers here and there. Tomorrow is not a very wet day, but we're in a weather pattern through the middle of the week where it's unsettled, really unsettled on Wednesday. So what you're looking at right here is the severe weather outlook for Wednesday afternoon. You see this bullseye right here. That's an enhanced risk of severe storms. So basically on a scale of 1 to 5, already 3 days ahead of time predicting that it's a 3 on a scale of 1 to 5 for northwest Georgia. What does that mean? It means as a line of storms comes into the state, severe storms may be most numerous in northwest Georgia. We can still get a few pretty much anywhere. And the main threats at this point would be damaging winds, possibly an isolated tornado. So stay alert to the changes in this forecast. We'll keep you updated as we get new information. And know that with a lot of cloud cover and rain, we're still getting to spring-like temperatures. 65 today, 72 tomorrow, 74 on Wednesday. And the cold front will, in fact, knock those temperatures down noticeably for Thursday and Friday. Elise?
We're going to feel that. Joanne, thank you. It's 9:06 now. The Academy Awards needed a second take last night to hand out the Oscar for Best Picture. The team from La La Land was in mid-speech when they had to hand over the top prize to Moonlight. Fox's Michelle Polino has more on the mix-up.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
In a complete shock of the evening, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway made a huge mistake announcing La La Land as the Best Picture winner, when in fact the winner was Moonlight.
This is Moonlight, the Best Picture.
Yeah. I don't think my life could be changed any more dramatically than what happened in the last 20 or 30 minutes.
It was awkward for everyone involved, especially when the producers of La La Land had time to thank everyone. And finally, it was discovered the wrong envelope was given.
I opened the envelope, and it said, Emma Stone.
Emma backstage set the record straight.
I also was holding my Best Actress in a Leading Role card that entire time. So whatever story, I don't mean to start stuff, but whatever story that was, I had that card. So I'm not sure what happened.
La La Land's lead actress, Emma Stone, who played a struggling actress, won her first statue, as well as Casey Affleck for his role in Manchester by the Sea.
Mahershala Ali.
In the supporting acting categories, there was no surprise when Mahershala Ali won for his role in Moonlight, and an emotional Viola Davis took home the statue for her riveting role in Fences.
Mel, you look great. I think the Scientology is working. I really do.
Host Jimmy Kimmel took the stage to make some jokes about the nominees and the political state of the country.
This broadcast is being watched live by millions of Americans and around the world in more than 225 countries that now hate us.
Perhaps the night's biggest laugh came with Kimmel surprising the crowd by bringing in a tour bus into the theater to meet the A-listers. And one guest had winner Mahershala Ali take a selfie.
This is very unfortunate what happened.
And as most will remember the night for the show ending's unprecedented mistake, hopefully the audience will appreciate the year's best in movies. In Hollywood, Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Well, the accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers issued a statement this morning apologizing for the Best Picture mistake. They are investigating the situation, they say. Now, TMZ founder and celebrity reporter Harvey Levin joins us live with more on this. And Harvey, this has to be one of the biggest mistakes that the Oscar Awards have ever seen. Good morning.
It's got to be. Good morning. So here's what I can tell you. I actually just got off the phone with a woman who for 30 years has made envelopes for various award ceremonies, and she explained to me how this works. So here's what happens. They have 3 rehearsal envelopes. And those rehearsal envelopes, once the rehearsals are over, they are disposed of and shredded. Then they have 2 actual awards envelopes. And the reason they have 2 is the presenters can go on, they can walk on the stage from either stage left or stage right. And sometimes they get it confused. So what they do is they have somebody standing there on either side, depending on what side the presenters come out on, and hand them the envelope. So there'll be an Emma Stone Best Actress envelope on the left side of the stage and the same on the right side of the stage. Now the question is, how did Warren Beatty get the Emma Stone envelope? And the weird part about this is I am told that it says Best Actress and it has the nominees on the face of the envelope. And the reason it has that is if the teleprompter fails, they can use the envelope to actually read the nominees. So it's right there, and it's unclear how that would have happened.
Yeah, you know, I didn't know there were so many moving parts here. I mean, that's a lot of envelopes to keep up with and make sure that they get in the right hands. But what I want to know, Harvey, is at what point do you think they knew that this was completely wrong? Because they were midway through their speech before they were stopped. So did the producers know immediately, or was it something that they caught, you think?
Well, somebody from Price Waterhouse knew, but what happens is they got to tell somebody who's got to tell somebody.
Right.
So that's why it took some. That's why it took some time. The Price Waterhouse people know the drill, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God!" And by the time they tell the producer, because Price Waterhouse isn't going to walk out there and say, "Stop."
Right.
You know, it's got to go through the channels, and that's why it took some time.
Yeah. You know what? I think that one of the best tweets I saw today, Harvey, was from Steve Harvey, and I think he posted something like, "Hey, what did I miss last night? #Oscars." So he has to be kind of, you know, getting a laugh about this. So there's a lot of parallels between the two situations.
This one's worse. I mean,
I don't disagree with you.
This is, oh my God. I mean, the idea that these guys, I mean, you feel so bad for them because these people got up and started giving a speech and they were excited, and then all of a sudden it's like, this is not, but they handled it pretty well given, you know, all of a sudden from here to here.
Yeah, emotional highs and lows the night was for sure. But I'll tell you this, Harvey, everybody's still talking about it. I mean, this is still the news today.
Oh, yeah.
Probably will be for a while.
They will talk about it all day long today.
All right, Harvey, thank you so much for this. I hope you have a good week.
You too, Elise.
We want to thank TMZ for providing production assistance for our interview. You can catch TMZ weeknights at 7:30 and midnight, and TMZ Live weekdays at 1 o'clock right here on Fox 5. It's 9:12 now. Documentary filmmaker Payne Lindsay is here to talk about his own investigation into the disappearance of Tara Grinstead and the arrest of a suspect in the nearly 11-year-old cold case. We're back after the break. Good morning and welcome back to Good Day Atlanta. It's 9:15 now. Tara Grinstead, a 30-year-old teacher and former beauty queen, disappeared from her Ocilla home more than 11 years ago. The creator of an investigative podcast following Grinstead's disappearance believes the case is far from over. Payne Lindsay set out to find answers to the mystery through his podcast. It's called Up and Vanished. And Payne joins me this morning. Payne, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, glad to have you with us today. Okay, we have to start with this. Of course, an arrest was made in the case on Thursday. The big news here. So what was your reaction to hearing about this?
I was all kind of feelings. I was shocked, I was surprised, I was happy, I was excited. I was just glad that there was finally some sort of resolution in play. The community needed this so much that I was just overwhelmed with emotion, actually.
Did you see it coming?
You know, honestly, I didn't. I didn't think that. I hoped that it would come, but I didn't know when or how, and so that part of it was surprising, but I was happy about it.
Yeah, of course. And you mentioned you actually got wind of the news from here on Fox 5 and then got in your car and headed down south to be there. You know, so what was it like once you made it there and just being at the center of everything happening?
It was wild. I mean, I saw the police chief and I shook his hand. I'm like, it's good news, right? And he gave me kind of a nod. And through the grapevine, I kind of found out that it's probably an arrest. And it was just a emotional experience. The whole town was there in the courthouse, and it was almost like a celebration of sorts at the end when everyone kind of was hugging and we did it kind of thing.
Right. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
Is the bottom line here. Let's talk about your interest in the case. I mean, it's a big deal, of course, to follow a case, but then to go several steps further and to, do your own investigations and make a podcast. So what was it that drew you to the case?
The case itself was just fascinating to me. I mean, just the circumstances of her car in the carport, the front door being locked, the latex glove, just didn't make sense. So this being one of Georgia's biggest unsolved mysteries, I decided that this is the case to pursue for a documentary. It just kind of drew me in, and then, after a little bit of digging, I realized my grandma lives 20 minutes from there.
Wow.
Her best friend, Melba, knew Tara. It was just kind of, the stars kind of aligned a little bit, and it just felt right to go forward.
Yeah, I was telling you before we sat down that I remember hearing about this case even from Arkansas, watching some kind of a crime investigation show on ID and being fascinated by it, and that's how people around the country feel about this case and have been watching it unfold.
Absolutely. I mean, this case is just one of those, with her being a beauty queen
and a teacher and so young.
Yeah, absolutely. It just draws you in, and you want answers for this.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, you also say that you were inspired by docuseries like Netflix's Making a Murderer, which is pretty cool because soon the plan is to turn your podcast into a TV series.
Yes, I mean,
tell us about that.
I was a filmmaker before I did podcasts, so I wanted the podcast to be a platform for me to get a television series done, meet the right people, just have an audience to have a TV series for, and sure enough, the podcast kind of grew, and it's still growing, but now we're going to use this platform to hopefully jump to the TV screen. So.
Okay, well, my next question for you is, where do you go from here? There's been an arrest, like we mentioned, so how does that change your podcast at all?
It changes everything, actually. So, I had a whole episode that was pretty much ready to go on other things, and I just scrapped it. You'll never hear it. But now we're following an arrest, and is there an accomplice? Is this the right guy? And we have trials to follow, and we have the healing of the community to follow, and also anybody who has been labeled a person of interest by the media in the past can tell their story now.
Okay, so what you're saying is the case is far from over, your podcast is far from over, and it sounds like it's really just the beginning as far as it goes with your work and being able to expand that to different platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Where can we find your podcast?
UpandVanished.com. It's on iTunes. It's called Up and Vanished. Just Google it, and you'll check it out. But yeah.
All right, Payne Lindsay, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate this, getting some insight on the case. If you want more information on Payne Lindsay or Up and Vanished, just click on the viewer information story on the Fox 5 Atlanta app. And at 9:20 now, let's get you caught up on the forecast. Meteorologist Joanne Feldman live in the Fox 5 Storm Center. Joanne?
Yeah, good morning to Elise. Obviously, we're tracking some big changes here already taking shape in northwest Georgia. An umbrella will be useful later today as all of this sweeps across metro Atlanta over the next several hours. Although from Atlanta eastward, you may not get much rain until we're approaching the noon hour and later. So here is where the steadiest rain is falling. Covering northwest Georgia, might be getting a few sprinkles out here to the east. And the rain gets heavier along Interstate 20 back toward Birmingham. As far as the way that's going to work out here locally, well, we take the hour-by-hour forecast ahead through the afternoon. And by late afternoon, a lot of the heaviest rain is immediately south of Atlanta. But there'll be a steady shield of rain that extends at times up to Gainesville, Athens. If I had to pick out one part of the state that's unlikely to get much or may get skipped over altogether, it's going to be far northeast Georgia. But this is one of many chances for rain this week. The next is tomorrow, although tomorrow isn't too much to get excited about. Really, most of Tuesday is just clouded over and really mild with temperatures in the 70s. But you see with these thick clouds tomorrow, a couple of showers here and there are certainly possible. It is Wednesday afternoon, though, that we are tracking a cold front that will really ramp up the intensity of what is about to happen. So the severe weather outlook for Wednesday, and for us it would be late afternoon and into the evening, is highest here in northwest Georgia, but virtually all of the Fox 5 viewing area has some risk of a severe storm that day. I'm expecting this to be really a solid line of storms that can kick up damaging winds. Possibly a tornado briefly spins up. Go ahead and start making plans here because you got a couple days to anticipate what's going to be coming. Know where your family would go if a tornado warning is issued for where you are. But but we'll bring you the details as we get new information here today. Up to 65 degrees, 70s for the next couple of afternoons. And then the cooler air comes in by Friday, 38 for the morning temperature, 59 in the afternoon. Will be even colder Saturday morning. Elise?
We'll be bundled up for that. Joanne, thank you. It's 9:22 now. Coming up here on Good Day Atlanta, we'll take a look at the red carpet fashion from last night's Academy Awards. Stay with us.